Deandre Hopkins has made his choice. He's now a Tennessee Titan. Let's go ahead and listen to Colin Cowherd and talk about the big move for D-Hop.
You know, a good player, he's not Randy Moss anymore, but he's a good player, is going to go to a good coach and a pretty good organization. So he should help them win another game in a while.
So a lot of people have been talking about Hopkins choosing Tennessee over the Patriots. That seems to be the last two teams vying for DeAndre Hopkins. I don't think there's that much of a difference between New England and Tennessee. If you really think about it, like people still think New England is this like perfect culture, this, you know, the portrait of winning. Like, you go there if you want to win, you go there if you want to be successful. Is that really the case anymore? Let's talk about New England. If you're DeAndre Hopkins, what do you see in New England? You see quarterback controversy at the best. You see Mac Jones and Bailey Zappi. You see an aging head coach who knows how long he'll be there. And you see a rotating door of coordinators. Last year, one of which, who was calling the plays, was not even an offensive coordinator. Matt Patricia was a defensive coordinator calling plays. So why would you want to line up there? And there's no telling what DeAndre Hopkins and Bill O'Brien's relationship is, which I would assume is not good. Bill O'Brien, of course, was the head coach of Houston when Hopkins was there. And now Bill O'Brien is the new offensive coordinator at New England. So it doesn't surprise me that he would take a look at that and say, or I could go with Mike Vrabel, who is a great coach in his own right. I could go where Derrick Henry is, which will free up, obviously, the passing game. And Ryan Tannehill / Will Levis isn't that far off from the combination of Mac Jones and Bailey Zappi, in my opinion. So I don't really blame Hopkins, especially if Tennessee was offering more money, which I'm sure they were. So all things considered, I'm not surprised by the move for Hopkins. I am surprised in the move for Tennessee. So I thought Tennessee was tanking. Or maybe not tanking, but I thought they were rebuilding. I don't think you can tank with Mike Vrabel, but I thought they were readjusting, moving away from Ryan Tannehill, probably going to move off of Derrick Henry. He's getting to that kind of after the peak of his career, and I thought we would see kind of a change of the guard at Tennessee. You know, bring Levis along slowly, and then see what you have in him, build around him, and in a couple years, 3-4 years, get back to the top. I thought they were going to do what Philadelphia did a few years ago. Philadelphia kind of rebuilt after the Carson Wentz situation. Took them a few years, and then we see where they are now. I thought that's what Tennessee would be doing. Apparently not. You don't go make this move if you're rebuilding.
Wonky division. But it's more of an indictment on New England. Think about this. So I'm a star receiver, and you know in the NFL you're as good as your wide receiver. Even Larry Fitzgerald's numbers came down when the quarterback position wasn't as good. Look at Randy Moss, how great he was. Look at his numbers with Tom Brady. Look at his numbers elsewhere. So DeAndre Hopkins did not choose Belichick, you know, with 6-7 Super Bowl rings. Did not choose offensive coordinator Bill O'Brien, who wanted to...
It's unbelievable, boys. I mean, it's unbelievable. I know we react to videos. I may just have to stop reacting to videos because I already say what they say in the video. You know, like I come on here, do a little 40-second spiel, boom, let's react. LOL, they're just saying what I'm saying. So, I mean, I might just start putting up the video, saying what I got to say, and then just closing the whole thing out. Let me also say this about the wide receiver position. That I think the NFL is pretty simple. And I may be wrong about this, but as you all know, very rarely am. The NFL is quarterback, coach. That's pretty much it. If you're a receiver, like who's the best receiver in the NFL? Let's just say it's Tyreek Hill. It can be, I don't care. If you think it's Justin Jefferson, if you think it's Cooper Kupp, I don't care. Let's say it's Tyreek Hill. If you put Tyreek Hill on the Commanders and Sam Howell was his quarterback, he's going to struggle. And that, you know, no offense to Sam Howell. It's just the way it is. If you take Tyreek Hill and put him on the Texans and Davis Mills is the starting quarterback, Tyreek Hill is not going to have a good year. It's not the same as it was in the 90s and the early 2000s where great receiver would line up in man and be facing man coverage, and then he would just kind of be able to do whatever he wanted. Defenses have wised up. The schemes have wised up. Coaches can take receivers out if they want to. They can bracket them. They can double team them. They can scheme around them. And then, of course, the quarterback has to carry the load. You know, the quarterback has to do their part. The wide receiver, if it used to be 70% of the wide receiver's ability, 30% of the quarterback, to me, it's at least that flipped. It's at least 70% of the quarterback and 30% of the wide receiver. That's not to say these guys aren't super talented. Deandre Hopkins had a pretty good year with Colt McCoy throwing to him. I think he still had 800 yards receiving or something like that. So they can make a difference. And there's a difference between A-tier wide receivers, which I think DeAndre Hopkins is, and lesser wide receivers. No doubt about that. But what I'm saying is, if you don't have the quarterback, you know, it really doesn't matter.
Division with Brock Osweiler. He didn't choose Mac Jones, a first-round pick who's clearly their number one quarterback. No, he chose Tennessee with a shaky offensive line, running back dominant, and you have no idea what the future is at quarterback. Will Levis, Malik Willis, Ryan Tannehill, and yet Vrabel sold him on it. And that,
I'll go ahead and tell you all this. Here's a little golden tidbit from your boy. I don't think Malik Willis makes the roster. Write that down. I think Malik Willis will be cut or waived or on the practice squad or something like that after this year.
that's all this was. Free agency is salesmanship. It's a little bit like college football inserted into pro football. Mike Vrabel's younger than Belichick, probably a little less rigid, former player, and he sold him. And I don't think
Vrabel might also, this is controversial, okay? This is controversial yet brave. So hold on to your butts. You can utilize this at the watering hole. You can say this around your coworkers, around your friends, and look like a genius. Belichick's the greatest coach to ever live. His resume speaks for itself. No doubt about it. But right now, is it crazy to say that Mike Vrabel is a better coach? I don't think so. Just because a coach was great and has been great, at some point they do fall off. They're like players. I don't think it's crazy to say, if I was building a team, I would actually, this isn't crazy to say because I believe it. If I started an expansion team and I got to choose my head coach, I would choose Mike Vrabel over Bill Belichick. Vrabel wouldn't be my number one pick, but if I was offered, you can have either Belichick as your head coach or Vrabel, I would choose Vrabel. If I had one season, if this upcoming NFL season was one season and I was trying to win a Super Bowl this season in 17 games, and I could have either Vrabel or Belichick, I'd take Vrabel. So even the coach, even that with New England has lost some shine. Let me know in the comments below what you think. Do you think Belichick is right now, like in this space, not his career, right now, do you think Belichick is a better coach than Mike Vrabel?
We're not talking about D-Hop as Randy Moss is going to change everything, but if you told me DeAndre Hopkins, now with Trey Burks, is worth a game in that division, the difference between 9-10 or 8-9, they got a very good defense. That's the difference between not making the playoffs and making the playoffs. It's a weak division. There's not a lot. There's only one weak division in the AFC. The other three, AFC East, AFC North, and AFC West, are stacked. Okay.
Yeah, it's the worst division in football. And a game, like, I hate when people do that. I hate when they say, like, he's worth a win. Like, what does that mean? No, he's not. You know, he's not. He may be worth, like, per yardage, per game, he might be worth, like, on average, 60 to 70-ish yard boost per passing yards per game, if that makes sense. He may be worth that if you kind of like if you're trying to quantify what he actually means to the offense. He's probably worth that. He's probably worth, I don't know, like a little less than a touchdown a game, somewhere in there for the offense. But the whole thing with the AFC South is that now, I mean, Jacksonville is supposed to run away with this thing. Tennessee now moves into that slot to where they could probably throw a wrinkle in that. They could probably be a dark horse in that division now. I've talked about it here. I don't think Jacksonville's that great. If you told me Jacksonville is a 10-win team, and then you told me Tennessee's a 9-win team, I'd believe it. And if you're within a game or so in a division, you can play spoiler. And it looks to me like what Tennessee decided was let's just try and be competitive. The division is weak. Let's not rebuild. And if we can win 9-10 games, then maybe we'll be within sniffing distance of Jacksonville. And when you play them twice, anything can happen. Tennessee steals a game against Jacksonville. That's a huge swing. A lot of people also are talking about this contract, 2 years, $26 million. When Odell Beckham signed for the Ravens, I would rather have DeAndre Hopkins than Odell Beckham. So I don't think the contract's that big of a deal either. If I wish the Saints would have gotten it. If you told me the Saints could offer DeAndre Hopkins 2 years, $28 million, okay, sure. I mean, DeAndre Hopkins is not a top 3 receiver, but he's certainly top 10. He's certainly a guy. He's better than Odell. He's been better than Odell. So for Tennessee, to land this, if Tennessee's really trying to win, which obviously they are, then I have no problem with this contract-wise.
Stacked. So New England really needed him. Tennessee needed him. And Tennessee got him. Patriots paid $33 million potentially for Devontae Parker 3 years. Titans paid $32 million for the much better wide receiver for just 2 years. They don't like it, they can get out of it. So I think Tennessee wins here. Also,
what's to say about Kyler Murray? Think about if you're Arizona and you've got Kyler Murray under a huge contract, supposedly your franchise quarterback. You have an opportunity to keep a top 10 wide receiver there for him for 2 years, $26 million, and you say no thanks. That's pretty damning of Kyler Murray. As damning as this is for Belichick and the Patriots, this is way more damning for the Arizona Cardinals and Kyler Murray.
And it is just incredibly hard. This is not a strong opinion. This is obvious for all of us. It's hard to win in 2023 without weapons. New England has none.
Yeah.
I mean, if the Patriots were a car, they'd be a stock base model.
Yeah, well said. I mean, that's perfectly said. The AFC East is stacked and it's full of weapons and it's full of explosive teams. The Patriots are not. The Patriots are a relic. They're a dinosaur. They are not changing with the times. They have no weapons. They have no firepower. They are an average team at best in a really, really good division. They're the worst in that division. And I think by passing on Hopkins, it looks to me like they know it. And it looks to me like New England is doing what I thought Tennessee would do. And New England is saying, look, Hopkins is not going to be that much of a difference maker for us. Let's not get bogged down in it. Let's just see what we have with Mac Jones and Bailey Zappi, figure out the future. Let's try and stabilize something, and then we'll make some moves. So it looks to me like where I thought Tennessee would start to rebuild, it looks like New England may be thinking about that.
You know what I mean? No key fob. Have to roll up your own
windows. No Bluetooth.
You'd be driving on 4 spares. I mean,
donuts.
there's just nothing there.
I'm with you. I agree.
Smith-Schuster should be a 3. That's what he was at Kansas City. Sometimes a 2. So you're talking about D-Hop may not be Randy Moss, but at least he's power steering. He's fresh new tires. He's automated.
It's funny how whenever you're doing this, whether you're doing a podcast or radio or videos or whatever, and you because all this is just rolling, you're just talking, and whenever you fall into a metaphor like that works, like this car thing, it's amazing to see Colin lean into it immediately. You can see where he knows. He's like, this is good. This sounds cool. This is unique. This is a soundbite. So he's leaning into it, and you can see immediately when he realizes it. Amazing.
To me, this is more of an indictment on New England again.
Agree.
Can't sell their vision offensively.
They don't have one. It's an indictment on Arizona, and it's an indictment on New England. Ladies and gentlemen, let me know in the comments below what you think. If you are a Titans fan, are you excited about this? What do you think? Oh, my God. I was starting to lose my voice there, boys. I was trying to power through at the end, but the larynx got me. I think the larynx is a muscle in there. Hopefully not. Let me know in the comments below what you think about this. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next video.